Did you know that barely 4 years after independence, India designed and manufactured its own aircraft? That was even before we had our first elections. Well, that very first plane is right here at the Science Gallery Bengaluru. Let's rewind to 1947. We've just got independence, but we are vulnerable and we need to defend ourselves. The neighborhood is volatile. There is war in Kashmir. The communists have just taken over in China. And the Korean War breaks out, which brings the global Cold War, or the proxy battle between the big powers, to Asia. Freedom and democracy is all very well, but you need military might to defend it. So where does India go to build its own air force? The answer, of course, is Bangalore. But why? A little over 6 years earlier, in 1940, the visionary Mysore Maharaja and Valchadhirajan had helped establish India's first aircraft factory, HAL, right here in Bangalore. This was no accident. It was a culmination of 50 years of industrial and scientific development in the princely state of Mysore. And in World War II, after Pearl Harbor, when there was a fear of an imminent Japanese air attack on South India, the British and the Americans moved in here to defend the peninsula, and they made Bangalore an Allied Air Force base. Expats moving to Bangalore for strategic reasons is an old story. At the same time, pioneer aerospace designer Madhav Ghatge completed his PhD in Germany, returned to India, and joined the Indian Institute of Science, founded in Bengaluru even before World War I, way back in 1909, and began designing India's very own aircraft. And so when we got freedom at midnight, India's MIA began to take shape in Bengaluru. MIA, what's that? Well, it's the Military Industrial Academic Complex. In other words, the IAF M, HAL I, and IISc A came together to jointly design and develop the very first plane designed in India by Indians for India, the HT-2 trainer. But wait, designing and making your own plane is brilliant, but who is going to fly it? Introducing the other star of the story, Captain Jimmy Munshi, the chief test pilot of HAL. Jimmy had just done something incredible. After the war, the Americans had left several B-24 Liberator bombers in Kanpur, just condemned as junk, considered unflyable. Really, engineers from HAL under Mr. Yellappa managed to salvage 42 of them, and Jimmy offered to fly them from Kanpur to Bengaluru at huge risk to himself. And he did it for free. He was a true patriot. And because of this incredible feat, India actually had a basic air force from very early on. So when Dr. Ghatge and his team said that the HT-2 was ready to fly, Jimmy took her for a spin on August 5th, 1951, a historic day for Indian aviation and aerospace. A day when India achieved true independence in aerospace design and manufacture. And guess what? The HT-2 trainer was used to train all our fighter pilots for the next 30 years. One of these test pilots was Rakesh Sharma, who went on to become the first Indian man in space. Bangalore is where India's romance with the skies and space began. When you hear about India's missions to the moon and Mars, remember, it all began right here in Namma Bengaluru. Come to the Science Gallery. Come and touch a piece of history. It still gives me the goosebumps.